Welcome back to Noise Pollution. Today we're going to be discussing a rumor, but one I find particularly interesting. You know, the creator of The Walking Dead and Invincible. Well, this pertains more toward his work on Invincible. Transformers G.I. Joe animated universe rumored from Walking Dead Invincible creator. Now, when I was a kid, I liked the Transformers cartoon, and I'm talking about the original. And then the animated movie was just epic. Now, looking at it from eyes of an adult now, it's still kind of epic, but imagine if he had done it similar to the way he did Invincible.
Oh, oh, it would have been way up there.
I also watched G.I. Joe, but in my own opinion, it never had the strength that Transformers did. But imagine what he could do with it.
I think it would. I think if he done those two cartoons, both of them would take on a whole new depth.
Oh yeah, and that's exactly what it needs. I mean, I'm more familiar with Transformers original story. I mean, the Transformers continued well after it was essentially dead and gone. The original, that is, in America, it continued in, I think it was Japan. They continued it on for a long time.
Yeah,
Too bad they never translated that and brought it over. That would have been nice.
yeah.
A new rumor suggests Robert Kirkman is set to bring his Energon universe comics. Okay, let me just say this. This rumor exists because he is currently writing on these comics. But this article, we'll get into it. New rumors suggest Robert Kirkman is set to bring his Energon universe comics to life in an animated series. The project is said to be a modern remake of the classic 1980s Transformers and G.I. Joe cartoons. The rumor surfaced on Reddit claiming that Kirkman will announce the animated adaptation at San Diego Comic-Con later this month. If true, the new show will reimagine the iconic Hasbro franchise using Kirkman's comic continuity. Well, okay, they state the original because there's been so many iterations of G.I. Joe and Transformers now, and I didn't care for the movies. To me, they were fluff action movies, and it felt like they didn't understand the original material. That's the way
Yeah,
it felt to me.
I can't
and
say
this
I cared for him either.
and this is speaking as someone who was there for the original material. I was a kid and I took it all in and I was all into it. And then, I got older. The movies came out and it was a big yawn. It was like, CGI and explosions and throw in a hot, snotty woman and ta da.
Yeah, it didn't have the it. I don't know. The new Transformers movies did not have the appeal that the '80s movie did. I mean,
Well, for
they
one,
tried, but
they didn't really delve into the Transformer lore like the animated series sometimes did.
yeah, that's true.
The characters just felt more hollow. They were
Yeah,
gimmicks, essentially gimmicks.
yeah, that's true.
So yeah, it shows that it's Image, but I think there's a company under that. I'll see if I can find it in this article. Skybound. Kirkman and Skybound have been developing the Energon universe as a fresh take on Transformers and G.I. Joe, introducing a new origin story and connecting the franchises in one shared world. So yeah, they if they mean GI Joe and Transformers, yes, they have had times where they merged their worlds, and yeah, that's an interesting take on it. I wouldn't be against that. Um, New origin stories, that part I'm iffy on, but if done correctly, yeah, why not?
Well, I mean, the two worlds colliding like that, it makes sense. I mean, because
But it only makes sense if they don't collide too heavily because that would drastically alter each, but more so the GI Joe story.
yeah,
No official word yet. As of now, neither Kirkman nor Skybound has confirmed the animated series. However, with Comic Con taking place July the 25th through the 28th, it wouldn't be surprising if a major announcement drops during one of Skybound's panels. I would love it if they did that. I mean, providing that they didn't DEI it all up, wokeify it or what have you.
yeah.
Fighting that didn't happen. I just didn't care for the movies. I didn't. But that
No,
oh, I know there's a lot of people out there that loved it, but you have to understand you're very likely from a later generation than I am, and you have a wholly different understanding of it.
yeah.
A new Transformers and G.I. Joe crossover movie is said to still be in development at Paramount. Yeah, I don't see that looking good. With rumors suggesting Michael Bay, yeah, oh yeah, I forget.
Oh,
Michael Bay could return as a director with 5 total projects claimed to be in development. With these projects, sometimes they stay in development for I don't know 10 or 15 years and never come to fruition. This happens often.
but Michael Bay.
Yes, 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 yes.
Oh,
Mm, yeah, I just didn't care for the way he did it, and I've never been a fan of his movies. But that comes down to preference. But I just think they lack depth.
yeah,
It's expected announcements will happen once the Paramount and Skydance merger is finalized. Company mergers, they're always ugly and they always take longer than expected. And there's always uh, brands that fall to the wayside as a result.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I doubt you've ever been much of a fan of either of these franchises, but all the same, imagine the way he did Invincible being applied to these two franchises.
Well, you're right. I mean, I never was a big fan of these two franchises, but I do remember watching the cartoons when I was a kid. I mean, that was all the thing back then. I mean, it was everywhere. And I think that if he does it and does it without putting all the DEI stuff in it, I think he'd do a really good job on it because I really enjoy Invincible.
Well, and there's The Walking Dead. I know you're
Hmm.
a fan of that too,
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm a fan of The Walking Dead too. So
which, the Walking Dead comic took a slightly different direction than the TV series, but they were similar enough. You could
yeah,
appreciate both. It
yeah,
didn't veer so far that it was unrecognizable from the original.
yeah,
And the same is true of Invincible. Of course, they censored some things and they did some minor race swapping kind of deals, unfortunately, in Invincible. And oh, I hated that. But for the most part, it was a semi faithful adaptation from comic to cartoon.
yeah. I mean, to me, Invincible isn't. It's it's a cartoon, but it's got such a good story. It's got every bit as much drama in it as a a live action TV
Okay.
show. You
Other
know.
than the DEI changes in Invincible, the animated series, that's my biggest complaint. But other than that, the animation was lacking and the art style could have been more serious, realistic. That's my complaints there.
Hmm. Well, for me, I I can get past the animation and stuff because the story's good. If the story was crap, then I wouldn't watch it. I just wouldn't watch it. So
But
for
yeah,
me, it's the story.
with with all that said, this would be a great thing to happen. You know, maybe there's someone with the brain at these corporations for once. Okay,
Yeah.
with that, we're out.